In a world where every 3 in 5 adults have experienced at least one type of adverse childhood event, the shocking prevalence of generational trauma is a reality we can no longer afford to ignore. This statistic is a stark reminder of the invisible threads that bind us to the past, weaving a complex tapestry of resilience, struggle, and healing that shapes who we are and how we navigate through life. Generational trauma, as defined by experts in the field, is a pervasive phenomenon that involves the transfer of trauma, stress, or adverse experiences from one generation to the next. These experiences can range from various forms of abuse and persecution to the aftermath of war and natural disasters. Psychologist and trauma expert Dr. Joy Degree notes that trauma leaves a legacy. It's not just about the people who are traumatized, but also about how that trauma affects their offspring. This legacy of trauma is apparent in the way it seeps into our behaviors, emotions, and even our neurobiology, subtly shaping our worldview and responses to stress. The ripple effects of generational trauma are far-reaching, from the intimate confines of our minds to the broader dynamics of our communities. It can manifest as mental health issues such as anxiety and depression, influence our self-esteem and identity, and affect our ability to regulate emotions. As Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, a prominent psychiatrist specializing in post-traumatic stress, aptly puts it, trauma compels people to act out and reenact their emotional experiences. On a societal level, generational trauma can impact community dynamics, cultural norms, and attitudes. It can strain family relationships and even shape parenting styles, creating a cycle that perpetuates the trauma across generations. Addressing generational trauma is a complex, multifaceted process that involves recognition, understanding, and action. It involves therapy, community support, education, and creating safe spaces for open dialogue. It's about breaking the cycle and promoting healing and resilience. As we navigate this journey, it's important to remember the words of Dr. Gabor Mate, renowned speaker and best-selling author on stress and trauma. The essence of trauma is disconnection from ourselves. Trauma is not terrible things that happened from the other side. Those are traumatic. But the trauma is that very separation from the body and emotions. So, as we move towards a future that acknowledges and addresses generational trauma, we must ask ourselves, how does the legacy of our past shape our present? How can we reconnect with ourselves and break the cycle? And most importantly, how can we use this understanding to foster healing, not just for ourselves, but for generations to come? These are the questions that beckon us to look deeper, to understand better, and to act with greater compassion and resolve.